I think of the rise of this, the evolution of this. Yeah, that's what I think of because the creator of OnlyFans, when did it start? 2016, was it? And you think of how it just blossomed. When you create something, it takes a while for it to build up. Hence the reason why the Book of Sultry hasn't really done anything yet. But that's beside the point. Let me stay on course here. So OnlyFans starts up 2016, and then 1 year later, we have a hashtag movement or a group of hashtag movements that fire off. And so then there's this divide between men and women, further and further apart, further and further apart, to the point to where men with good intentions no longer want to approach women. Let me say that again. Men with good intentions no longer want to approach women because they don't want to deal with any accusations of any kind. They don't want to go down that vortex or get caught up. And they have good intentions because not all men have bad intentions. Let me get that straight. Secure men have good intentions. Let me say that again. Secure men have good intentions. It's the insecure men that you have to worry about. So, okay, you have that bigger divide, 2018, 2019, bigger divide. So OnlyFans starts to escalate, right? The numbers start to rise up a little bit because as opposed to dealing with the in-person stuff, they say, well, hey, I'll just get it online. I'll have this illusion of a connection that I have to pay for. And then here we go, 2020, in comes 2020. And of course, we had that situation, quarantine, everybody gets online. And there's the boom. There's the boom. If everybody's online, they don't want to deal with the in-person stuff for two reasons, right? For two reasons. I don't want to catch anything, and I don't want to. I mean, there's multiple reasons. There's more than two. What am I talking about? There's like innumerable reasons, right? But there you go. The numbers escalate. So major success for the creator of OnlyFans. Congratulations. Will that continue? Well, that remains to be seen. But there were things before OnlyFans, so it's nothing new. We just have another option, essentially, right? So yeah, but for men like me, it just doesn't work. But okay, there's that. What else? Because there's a lot of discussion about this, or has been. You see a lot of YouTube channels that have been talking about this, especially since last year. And there's multiple sides of the argument. You have one that says, okay, why do it? Right? There's that one woman I watched on YouTube. I forget her name, but she talked about being a stripper and leaving that. And she has a video talking about the 10 reasons why you should not have an OnlyFans page. And she made a lot of interesting points, there. But that's one side of the discussion. And then the other side would come from a woman who is 69 years old. 69 years old, and she is in the top 1% of OnlyFans creators. Interesting. Now, of course, that's nothing new in terms of that desire or fetish. That's been around. And if you didn't know, you've been living under a rock. Interesting discussion. But what is all of this connected to? Whether you're for it or against it, what is it all connected to? Sex. There it is. So let me ask you this. Let's take away all the negatives, everything that you know that makes you afraid of sex. Let's remove that. Let's remove all of the negative stuff attached to the subject matter. How do you feel about sex overall? Let me ask you another question. Where did you get your sexual education from? Did you have an intelligent conversation about it? Did you have a conversation that makes you see sex as something beautiful? Because it is beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful parts of the human experience. But is that how you learned it? Was that the information that you received when you were 10, 11, 12? Was it in school? Probably not. I mean, I think of my own experience in terms of school, no depth. It's probably the worst form of any kind of sexual education. What else? Parents who don't do it, don't want to talk about it. Shh, don't talk about it. So there goes that. You get it from your friends who are inexperienced. And of course, you get it from your own experience. That's obvious. You get it from the adult entertainment industry. That's not the best option. That's not the best option at all. You get it from music videos and movies. That's not the best option because those are fantasies. So, really, when you think of your sex education, it has come from some very poor places and has given this dirty feel, nasty feel, raunchy feel. There's nothing wrong with kink, but no beauty attached to it. Now, if you're within certain religious groups, maybe there is a beauty attached to it because they associate it with marriage, if they're going according to scriptures. Now, I'm not a aficionado and I'm no longer Christian, but if you're going according to the scriptures, then there's something beautiful with the experience of sex, right? If you do it the right way. But then you have people who are non-religious that see it as something beautiful as well. Okay. But that's not the dominant collective. That's not in mass. The idea of it being a beautiful part of the human experience. Has that been your knowledge? Is that the way that you received it? Probably not. In fact, I would say that America has done a poor job with the topic of sex. Never in the history of this nation have we had an intelligent and beautiful approach to sex. So that's why people have their perception. It's dirty, it's foul. Shh, don't talk about it. I feel uncomfortable. How many intelligent conversations have you had about sex with strangers or someone that you just meet? Now, some of you have, and props to you. If you're the type of person that can articulate it, convey your thoughts clear, and have those intelligent discussions, especially opposite sex, right? Men and women, you know, I've had some very intelligent discussions about it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to happen after the discussion. But how often does this happen for you? Intelligent discussions about it, the beautifying of it. That's where the problem is. Now, Europe, they have a totally different take on it, right? It's open. It's not as shh as it is over here in the States. So maybe their approach to sex is slightly different, more open, more comfortable. You know, you can have these discussions and not feel cringe or not feel fearful or not feel threatened, right? How many conversations have ladies have had with a strange man and they feel threatened, they feel fearful, right? Because they think that this person is going to impose something dangerous upon them, right? But you tie it all back to the sex conversation as a whole, how America, how we have treated the subject matter. So I feel that that's what needs to change. The comfortable conversations with your parents. Think if more parents had comfortable conversations with their children about it. How would we perceive it? How would we treat it? Would we give it the respect that it deserves? I'm curious to see the evolution of this, if it will even go in that direction, because it might not. Or maybe what's been happening will spark that up. Maybe there will be a return to this beautifying of sex. I mentioned that the adult entertainment industry is a very poor place to get all of your sex education. You can get one fraction of it, but all of it from the adult entertainment industry? No, 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 no. I will say that the Zane Chronicles, I like the way they did things. Yeah, the Zane Chronicles. Is that how it's pronounced? Yeah, Zane Chronicles. Yeah. I think they only had 2 seasons. And then really well done, by the way, in my opinion. You know, I'm not a adult entertainment guy, but that's a good. And then there's this movie called Love that used to be on Netflix. If more movies that are sexually graphic were done like this film, man, there would probably be a lot more respect for it, especially that scene at the end of the movie, the bathtub scene. Wow, that was powerful. But that's what I mean. Having substance with sex, you know, whether it's done with movies, television, music videos, whatever, all across the board. If we change our perception of sex, we then change how we react to it. We change the discussion. We change the way it makes us feel individually. If we develop this respect for the human body, we change it. That's where the change begins. Going back to what I said about OnlyFans not doing anything to me, I don't see women as just pieces of meat. So I've mentioned a lot here in this episode, but it is something to marinate on and really take a hardcore look at. How do you view sex? Where did you get your education from? What is your perception of it overall? Why is it not elevated? Why isn't the perception that it can be used for healing? It can be used for more than just the obvious.